For the next few minutes, don't worry about anything. Just let loose and laugh.
Lord knows they will. It's the Tiny and Katy Show.
Hey, I'm Tiny.
And it's Katy. Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay. I'm absolutely.
It's Katy.
I'm not okay. I'm pretty pissed off.
Okay, let's. There's nothing we can't discuss and figure out what's going on. Talk to me.
Here we are, episode 3, and I'm already questioning doing this with you because let me explain to everyone what has transpired here. Okay, we take great pride. I know both of us do. I'm speaking of both of us. We take great pride in this show and the quality of it. And
no idea what you're complaining about, by the way.
Well, you get ready.
Where you're going.
Get ready.
Okay, I'm
okay. If you just stop, I'll tell you. All right.
I'm ready for it. Let's go.
So we had planned to record this originally tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I take that back. Let me retract that. We originally planned to record when we're recording right now.
Uh-huh.
So then yesterday, I was talking with Katy, and she said, "Hey, can we possibly bump it a day?" Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So fast forward, and I get a text from her today saying, "Hey, can we go ahead and just record tonight?" And okay. I'm like, "What am I supposed to do here?" So totally unprepared, and I know it's only 24 hours, but totally unprepared, and my diva of a co-host here is friggin' ridiculous.
Okay, well, I have a very busy lifestyle. I don't know what you want from me. No offense to you, Tiny. I love you dearly, but you don't have as much really going on. Your social circle is kind of smaller, and you like to stay at home and be a homebody. I have a very active lifestyle. So I found a little time out in my schedule, and I said, let's do it. Here we go. Now, what am I taking away from at this moment? What exactly have I interfered with?
Well,
by doing tonight, not
you say my social circle is small. Yeah, it's about 2 feet high.
Right. Yes, we know this.
Yeah, and I had originally carved out tonight to spend some time with the baby, but oh no.
Oh, okay. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one. I mean, well, at this moment, it's taking time away from my cat. So, I mean, we're even.
Speaking of which, is she close by?
Yeah, she is, actually. Do you want to see her?
I sure do.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, about 12 years ago, I found a cat on the side of the road. And she was about 8 weeks old when I found her, and she was in really rough shape. Her nose was broken. Her tooth was broken. She had her front leg, but it had zero mobility, and it needed to be amputated.
Right.
And I had her leg amputated, and I kept her, and her name is Uno. And I named her Uno because she lost Uno legs.
1.
But she is 3.
Okay. So this is maybe the first time people have seen Uno in years.
And she's massive. I mean, she is a massive, massive cat.
Oh, look at the baby.
She's so large. Look how fat she is.
Say hi to Uncle Tiny.
Yeah. Well, Tiny actually was there when I found Uno on the side of the road. Remember when I was picking her up, and I had stopped traffic because I went out. I stopped my car. I pulled it over, went out into the middle of the road, stopped traffic, and ran out and grabbed this cat. And now, meanwhile, traffic's starting to back up, and Tiny's like sitting in his car, and he's like, who is this idiot stopping traffic right now on 4:00 on a Friday? That idiot's Katy.
Yeah.
What's she doing picking up some roadkill? What is she doing picking up an animal and putting it in her car right now?
We cleaned that up when we originally talked about that on the air, but in reality, I was driving up like, who is that dumbass just walking out in the middle of the road? And I drive by and I'm like, my God, that dumbass is Katy.
Both hands, stop, I'm that's my job, I'm stopping traffic. Everybody, you have to stop.
Not only is she like the rescuetheanimals.com, but she's also a crossing guard, apparently.
Yeah, right. I was wearing many hats that day.
Oh my goodness. Very so then she didn't know that I passed by. She was caught up in the moment. So I get home, and then because I knew that in short order a text was coming my way or a phone call was coming my way.
Of course.
But I texted her and I said something like, what are you going to do with that cat? Or
no, you said, what are you doing with the roadkill that you picked off the side of the road?
Oh, okay. I would have said something like that. Yeah.
It was actually alive. I'm not just picking up random animals off the side of the road that are not living. I said it's still alive and I'm taking it to a vet. But here we are 12 years later, and here's my 3-legged cat.
And she ended it with, thanks for stopping, jerk.
Yeah, Tiny just like went driving by full speed ahead.
Hey, look.
Like, you idiot!
I had a nap with my name on it waiting on me. If you want to chase after cats all day long on your time off, by all means, chase after cats. Whatever.
I get it. I get it. 100%. So how are you doing? How was your week? Things going good?
It's good. Over the weekend, celebrated the babies. Can you believe she's 2 years old already?
I can't believe that. She is I think I told you this before, the calmest child I have ever met. Just super, super calm. And I know she takes after you and Mary because both of you are very calm, very zen type of people. But man, is she a calm child. It's just, you like forget she's even in the room, which don't take this the wrong way, but that's kind of like my kind of child.
Yeah, right. I remember when Katy had not met her at all, and the first time you were here, because I'm recording this in my house, as are you in your house. But the first time you were here, Mary needed to do something, and I was cooking, I believe, and Mary just walked over to you and was like, "Here, I got to go do something. Here, hold the baby." And you should have seen the look on Katie's face. It was sheer terror. It was like,
I don't do babies.
Okay. You know. It was crazy.
And the thing is that because I'm not a baby person and I love children, obviously I'm a teacher and my nieces are they are the loves of my life and I love them dearly, obviously, but I don't do babies and I don't want to hold a baby, and it's nothing against your baby. Your baby is adorable and it's lovely and I love how much happiness it's bringing to your life. Sure. But I don't want it in my arms. It gives me like a panic attack. So, but people like kind of latch on to that. And so they're always like, let's let Katy hold the baby. Yeah. And I'm just like, I get into my position, arms, to the side, and I don't move. And I'm like stiff as a board. So you put the baby in my arms and it's just like, like my neck starts to hurt. My back starts to hurt. My arms start like.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I'm
not a baby person at all.
Terrified the whole time Mary's pregnant. And then when the baby is born, I was just absolutely petrified that I was going to hurt her in some way. And and obviously I just, the love that fills your heart when you're a parent is just unlike, I mean, you can't even, I wouldn't have words if I tried. I could spend 1,000 years saying it and I wouldn't have the words. So obviously you want to do everything you can to protect this baby, this precious thing that you're in charge of. And that was, if you could ask anybody, I mean, I even told you before, but you asked my mom, my dad, I don't know what I'm going to do. My biggest fear is I'm going to drop her. I'm going to, something's going to happen.
Something bad's going to happen.
And then I'm going to live with that for the rest of my life.
Imagine being responsible for somebody else's kid and dropping somebody else's kid. That's why I don't even play that game. Yeah, I mean, like,
cute. What do you do if you? I mean, I shouldn't say I would love to hear from somebody who did it. I would never wish that on anybody. But like, what do you do if you're this perfectly healthy baby, you're holding it, and you're the one who
that makes that monumental mistake,
who drops it? I mean, it's not like you dropped a piece of cheese on the floor. You can just kick it under the couch.
That's why I don't even play that game. I don't even get involved. I'm like, yep, your baby's cute. Let's take a picture. And when it's 2 or 3, I'll play with it. But for right now, no.
It's like, so what do you say? Hey guys, well, I'm going to get out of here. It's been great catching up, you know.
I guess I made my mark. It's time for me to go.
Say goodnight to Bobby and Snooki for me. I'm out of here.
Yeah. No, I don't ever want to be that person. But yes, so happy birthday. She's very, very sweet little angel. I love her.
Yep. Love Reagan to death. 2 years old. She turned 2 years old yesterday. So let's backtrack real quick, Katy. Big thanks for the success of episode number 2. And I think we're to a point now where we're going to stop talking about numbers of episodes because, we've now, we've got 2 under our belts. The response is amazing. Thank you so much. I do encourage you. It seems like the videos are more popular than just listening, which I guess we kind of thought that would be the case. Didn't you think that would be the case?
Well, especially when we threw out the Nick Nolte doppelganger picture. I mean, it really is, and I know you hate this word, it is epic. And to see it, you have to see it, and it's going to make you laugh, I promise.
Yeah. So if you haven't checked out episode number 2, you have to do that, if only for what Katy's talking about is the side-by-side mugshot of Nick Nolte and Katy. Just, I mean, it's crazy good.
You know how people say, they'll come up to you and say, oh, you know how you look like, have you ever been told that you look like this celebrity? Have you ever been told you look like this celebrity? And, most of the time it's a compliment. I mean, here I am being told I look like Nick Nolte.
Right.
That is not a compliment by any means.
He must be dashingly handsome. No. Not in this case.
So good looking.
Those rugged good looks that he has.
Unfortunately, that's not what's happening.
But find us on YouTube. It's all Tiny Katy Pod. Katy spelled Katy. Also on our socials, we are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The neglected one of all of those, unfortunately, is Twitter. I'm going to try to be better at that. I'm going to see if Katy can maybe take over at least one of these.
I don't know what Twitter is. For the longest time when I heard handle, I thought of like alcohol. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
Alcohol that Twitter makes.
I don't know. For whatever reason, I Facebook, I'm going to use this term and I don't mean it, but it's the one I have. I love Facebook. I'm okay with Instagram. It's fine. But for whatever reason, Twitter pisses me off. And I don't know why. I just can't stand it. It's like a total mystery to me.
We don't want you getting upset because when you get mad, you get that really crazy, scary accent that makes no sense. So let's just keep you where you are right now and not get you upset. Apparently.
So, Katy, last week you led off with talking about your finding your stray gray hair, and I just have one message for you, and then I'm going to break into what I wanted to talk about this week to lead off. Mary said, Mary's my wife, for those of you who don't know. Mary said that you had now officially made her feel old.
Why? Does she have a gray hair or a few?
She has a good many on a side, but her mom went gray very, very early as well. So
why isn't this something that people are talking about more?
What are you going to do about it?
Well, I mean, that's how I catch up with my friends. I'm like, hey guys, how you doing? I did this week. I found a gray hair. That's like how I catch up with my girlfriends. I just feel like nobody is talking about it. And once some people listened to the episode, they thought, oh, Katy, you only found one. I have like 100. Well, why didn't we talk about this? I would have felt a lot better about it. Well, now I do because I've heard.
Yeah, feel a lot better because Mary's younger than you, by a couple years. So there you go. You should feel a lot better about yourself.
Yeah, I'm actually accepting, and it's totally fine. I think if that's the worst that happened, a gray hair stray here and there, I'll be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have a guilty pleasure that I got to tell you about, and I think that you are, I know 100% in on at least one of these. But can we talk about how absolutely amazing Below Deck is on Bravo?
Oh, Tiny.
Oh,
Tiny.
Yeah.
Okay. We could talk about this for hours. Where do you want to go with Below Deck? Do you want to go to Captain Lee? Do you want to go to Captain Sandy? Do we really want to throw it back to Captain, I think it was Captain Mark? Like where do you want to go with this? You want to talk about favorite guests?
I'm sorry. Do we not talk about Captain Glenn?
Oh, Captain Glenn. Yeah. I like Captain Glenn. I love Captain Lee.
Yes.
The things that come out of his mouth when he says things like, they're probably not appropriate, but he says a lot of swear words and these different kinds of phrases that make me laugh so
Absolutely
bad.
He does.
I love that guy. And unpopular opinion here with Below Deck, Kate Chastain, I'm sorry, is always going to be what I believe is the best Chief Stew.
No.
She's the best.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, Tiny. Listen,
far enough.
Let me
Hannah is the best. Hannah's the best.
Who?
Hannah.
No way, Tiny. I love Hannah, but she's so lazy. Like, Kate got it done.
Yeah, but she was a raging bee.
It doesn't matter. She got her. It doesn't matter which is like below deck. Below deck. Haha. When she's with the customers, I mean, she gets it done. There's not a drink she doesn't know how to make. There's not a party she can't throw off. There is not anything that she cannot do.
Okay.
Love Hannah. Don't get me wrong.
Time out. I want to interrupt you right here just to throw this in because I'll forget if I don't. You said that it doesn't matter how she is to the staff. It only matters how she presents herself to the guests. And I wholeheartedly agree, but the guests don't have the opportunity to see the behind the scenes. But are you honestly going to tell me that when you're watching, or were, because she's not on anymore, but when you were watching Kate interacting with some of the guests, like when they would do the B-roll stuff and she'd be talking about how this guest was really ticking her off, and then they show her interacting with that guest, you didn't pick up on the disdain that she had for these guests when she would say something like, oh, could you get me a double mocha soy laka chocolate fufu? And she was like, oh yeah, I can get that for you.
Yeah. But you know what, Tiny? She came out with a chocolate mata triple fufu. She came out with it and they loved it.
Okay.
She nailed it. She nails her job, and I'm going to miss her because she was, and I know this is an unpopular opinion, one of my all-time favorites on Below Deck. Love, love, love Kate. Really, really good at her job. Got it done. Love Hannah too.
Yeah.
But she was not in my opinion, as thorough as Kate is. Are
Did
you
you
just now discovering Below Deck, by the way?
No, remember we've talked about it. Not one swinging D. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we've talked about this before, but I love what they're. Go ahead.
Captain Lee always says, what is this? So what does he say? I'm like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he does. Yeah, the thing is, he always talks about how, and I'm not saying he's not, but and I know that we only see what they edit in and leave out, but he always talks about how busy he is, and the next thing you know, he's sitting there with his feet propped up in the captain's quarters, right behind the wheel, whatever, and just telling Eddie, do this, push this, do this, whatever.
Oh, he loves Eddie.
Oh, Eddie's great. Eddie is great. Here's the biggest question I have about this show. Two things. Number one, first of all, did you see that they're doing now Below Deck Australia?
No, but I will tell you, I haven't been watching since Francesca was chief stew, and once Kate and Hannah left, I was kind of done because they were my favorites. So
honestly, it's still worth it. Now, my other question is, and this is something that you ask Mary, it really ticks her off now, but I bring it up every single episode because every episode inevitably somebody's complaining about some of the guests. So that's part of the charm of the show. My biggest question is though, these people who rent these and do these exotic getaways on these boats, you can't tell me that, because a lot of these are vain people. You can just tell that. You can't tell me that they're not going to watch their episode when they're on it.
Yeah, I always think that too. What do they think about themselves when they see it on TV? Did you ever see
not just that, but what I mean, what is it that they of course they see themselves, but what do they think of the fact that they're saying about them? I mean, everybody from the captain on down to like the guy who's cleaning mopping the floor. Yeah.
My favorite guest ever on Below Deck, her name was Crystal, and she put herself in the shame cocoon she fell asleep, she was drunk, she was out on the boat, and her friends were just going to leave her there, and you can't just leave somebody sleeping on the
I know.
Bow.
Yeah.
So Kate and Josiah go out, and Kate's like, it's Kate and Josiah, it's time to go in now. And she's like, just leave me. And Kate looks at Josiah and she's like, get the hose. Just get the hose. And it was just and Josiah's like, she's wrapped herself in some kind of shame cocoon. And oh my gosh, that is my all-time favorite episode. But yes, love Below Deck. It is my guilty pleasure. And 100%.
And when we're watching this show, and I'll end with this unless you have something else to add when I'm finished with this, but when we watch this show and you see all these people just going crazy, staff members, when it's over, all they can do, they literally fall all over themselves to get dressed and dolled up to go out and just
and then get drunk and
oh
fall
my God,
asleep.
Fall in the fountains and wind up in bed with God knows who. And every time Mary says, because I'll make some comment, I'll be like, I'll be dogged. If I was on that boat, X, Y, and Z, and Mary goes, hun, you would never be on that boat. I said, why is that? She goes, because if they would all want to go out, you would literally tie yourself to the anchor to stay with the boat.
Yeah. Tiny would literally not leave his room and wouldn't drink any alcohol.
No.
He would say, I'm just going to get my pajamas and I'm just going to chill in this bed for 3 days straight. And I'm so thrilled that I paid $75,000 to do this trip. And you would be fine with that.
But imagine me on the staff.
No.
They would be miserable.
I can't imagine you around like a bunch of people anywhere.
Fair enough.
You don't like a bunch of people, but
that's true.
I do want to share a quick story with you. If you don't know this about me or you don't know this about Tiny and I are masters of puns.
Oh yeah.
We love puns. We go back and forth a lot with puns. There was a great pun that was said to me this week that I really feel like I should share with you, Tiny, that you're going to love.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. You got to set this up?
I'm going to set it up.
Okay.
So the other night it was super, super windy. I don't know if it was where you are.
It was.
Super windy.
Yeah.
Like gusts of wind up to 25 to 40 miles an hour. It was insane.
Yeah.
And I took my recycling out the night before because it got picked up the next day, obviously. And I take my recycling out. And now, mind you, I drink a ton of seltzer waters. I drink like 6 seltzer waters a day. I love seltzer water. I can't chug it fast enough. So I drink a lot of seltzer water. So there's always a lot of cans of like my lime seltzer waters in my recycling bin. Not the alcoholic ones, mind you. Just like regular seltzer.
Well, no, those are too expensive. You wouldn't drink a ton of them.
Let me just make that clear for the record. And I put my recycling out. I go to sleep, and I feel like I'm dreaming, but I wake up and I hear cans rustling all over the place. And when I finally come out of my REM cycle, I realize, oh my gosh, the wind has knocked over my recycling bin and there's cans flying all over the place. And I don't want to be that person. I don't like to litter. I can't be that person.
Right.
I look at the clock. I mean, it's after 11 and I go to bed at like 7. So I put on my shoes, I go outside, and I'm running around the neighborhood collecting all of these cans and putting them back into my recycling bin. Well, along with my recycling bin, my neighbor, who I adore, she's the greatest neighbor in the world, her recycling bin also knocked over. So I'm walking around and I'm collecting all of our cans, whether they're hers or mine or whoever's, and I'm putting them back into our recycling bins. So the next morning I text her and I said, hey, just so you know, in case you saw me running around last night at like midnight, or you saw me in your recycling bin, I was taking the cans that blew over from the storm and putting them back into the recycling bin. And she said, you know what I love about you, Katy? She says, I love your, she says, I love your can-do attitude.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
I love you and your can-do attitude.
That's great. That is right. I don't know that I have anything that would, because you didn't, typically Katy will send something to me and tell me about a pun, and she didn't preface this one, so I had no knowledge of what this was, and I don't have anything for that.
It was perfect. So
but I mean, I do think that's a good pun, though. I do think if any of them, that's certainly the one that you should recycle.
Here, I knew it. I did you hear me? I said, here we go.
Here we go.
It's coming. Here we go. Yep.
It's true.
I do love those puns.
It's very true. So anyway, let's move on here. We asked this question. Actually, I'm sorry, we didn't ask this question. We meant to, but last week Katy brought up this amazing topic for us to discuss here. I've had a chance to think about it, so I have mine. But Katy, take it.
I think this is a really difficult question to just hear and try to come up with an answer. But on Sundays, as I'm doing my lesson planning, I love to rewatch movies that are kind of easy for me to watch in the background as I'm writing my lesson plans for the week. And I turned on The Dark Knight Rises. Now The Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. Now I've seen The Dark Knight a million times. I love that movie. And I put it on just to kind of be like background noise as I was doing my lesson plans. And the next thing I know, 2 minutes have gone by and I can't take my eyes away from the television. And I've seen this movie so many times. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, this is probably the best, if not top 3, 4, 5 opening scenes to a movie that I've ever seen. Haha. And the reason I also say that is because I've seen it so many times, and it still gets me every single time. I can't tear my eyes away from it. So I asked Tiny, I said, Tiny, when you think about like your favorite movies, what is a movie that, even if the movie sucked, honestly, what is the opening scene to a movie that got you so hooked you were like, yep, this is it. This movie's going to rock my socks off. So
I had a chance to think about it. I did think last week when we were talking about this one did cross my mind, but I kind of didn't want to blow it. I'll be honest with you. I'm hard pressed to find one better, and it's going to seem so simple, than Jaws.
Okay.
Because the reason that opening scene works so well is because you know what the movie's about. Going in, it's about a killer shark. It sets that tone right away, that ominous dun dun dun, dun, coming up to see the girls, the outline of the woman, and it so encapsulates the movie and just gets you right away, gets the adrenaline going for that movie.
I think for that movie as well, Tiny, at that time, nothing like that had ever been done.
Right.
There wasn't this killer shark movie and Sharknado and all these crazy spinoffs we have now. So that was something that, it's a brilliant premise. It really is a brilliant premise to a movie that hadn't been done or monetized before. Right. Like, hey, let's think about a shark and could we turn this into a movie and make a ton of money out of it? And absolutely. I mean, that was like a huge movie.
Is there another one that you have? I'm
Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily love Pulp Fiction.
Right.
I mean, I appreciate it because it's iconic and I've seen it so many times, but I think Pulp Fiction's another one that really, really grabs my attention. I have a ton. The movie wasn't really that great, but Swordfish, the opening scene to Swordfish really got me as well.
I forgot about that movie.
Yeah. This movie wasn't amazing, but the opening scene really got me where I'm just like, oh yeah, this movie's going to rock.
I tell you, one that I think was, I'll tell you this, I'll admit to this. I cheated a little bit today. Like I said, I had thought about Jaws, and then I'd looked up like best movie opening scenes, and the Jaws one was the one that really got me hooked.
Oh,
hey now!
I knew you were gonna put that bait out there at some point.
I was fishing for that one. Jeez!
Listen, I gotta tell you, that pun was really fantastic. Like,
was it really?
Was. Way to go!
I did it on purpose, just so you know.
No, you can't do porpoise with shark. You can't do porpoise with a shark.
Well,
that's just not a pun that I can really. It's just not one I can sink my teeth into, though. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but you're throwing out all these ones that apparently are allowed, and I'm here treading water.
Tiny, listen, I know we're chums and everything, but that's just not something that I can really get on board with.
Oh, bite me.
Keep fishing.
I already used fishing. You can't use one. Okay, party foul. Not going to happen. So,
did you say fishing?
The only other one that I saw on this list, and it's going to seem so silly, but think about it, is The Lion King.
The song?
Just
that hold the baby up?
Well, I mean, that's obviously the culmination of the opening scene, but from the animated to the live action they did a few years ago, it's that, the coming together at Pride Rock and all the animals and just this really like the score is beautiful, and then suddenly it's like, whew, not to mention is
it's clear you have children right now. I would not say that is one of my top 5 best.
So yeah, but the thing is that was from the list that I Googled today, and that was number 1 was The Lion King. I'm like,
well, can we open this up? Like, is there any way we can open this up and see? I'm sure we're missing some really, really great movies.
We absolutely are. So here's what we'll do. We'll point you back to our socials. So Facebook, Instagram, don't do Twitter. We have it, but I wouldn't recommend it. And then you can obviously go ahead.
We're not going to leave it behind.
No, we're not.
We've got to get up at the time. So do it, and we'll figure out how to respond. And by we, I mean Tiny.
Yeah, exactly. So let's do that. And YouTube comments, especially. I find, Katy, more people, because I think more people are watching us than are listening. But YouTube comments are really starting to take off as well. So wherever you want to leave a comment, rest assured we will see it. I'll get a notification from Twitter. And yes, I'll hashtag you over sponsor, whatever the case may be. What I was going to say, though, Katy, is that I think one of the reasons that I love the Lion King opening is because they say Pennsylvania in the opening scene.
They say Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Pennsylvania!
Oh my God.
I don't have any idea what in the world they're saying.
I don't know how I did not see that one coming. I'm like, oh, really? They give a shout out to PA? How awesome.
No.
My home state. Way to go. They did that just for me.
It's like Swahili or something, obviously. I have no idea. But I was just, every time it's on, because it is on a lot with having a daughter now. And I just,
I'm sure.
In the background, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia.
Oh, are you making this up, or have you heard this somewhere?
No, I've always known they weren't saying Pennsylvania.
Well, obviously.
But I always say that when I hear it. I just yell Pennsylvania.
You are very clever, and you better quit while you're ahead right now.
Oh, be quiet. That's just my state of mind.
Oh, I'm not ready.
What you got? I'll give you a 10-second grace period.
I'm going with Keystone, the Key. No, I got nothing. Harrisburg. No, got nothing. No, I'll come back strong next week with something.
Wow, that's really bad. Sorry. I thought you'd have at least something.
Well, you can't. I mean, that's a big one. Pennsylvania. You can't hit me on the. You gotta do something easy like teeth or cats or a cat. I could be like, oh, I'm feline fine or something. Pennsylvania. That's not an easy pun to come up with. Yeah,
it's not really. Would any state really be?
Maine. I think Maine. You could get. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of puns that you could probably get. That are a little bit more mainstream with that one. So
is that what this girl had to decide? Do we bang or not?
Yeah. Oh, I had a lot when I went to. Okay, yeah, ha. Very funny, Tiny. I did have a lot when I went to Alaska. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
listen, guys, can I'll ask a question here if that's okay with everybody. You can't not answer it if you don't want to.
Right.
I did have a lot when I was in Alaska.
There was one that, and I think we both have ours, but I know the one that I was the most proud of. We're really getting off on tangent here. We're going to wrap this up, but I think that she's like, share your puns too. We absolutely love them.
I love puns.
Katy goes nuts for puns. I mean, she truly, truly does. And I think they're great too. And I just love to see what I can come up with. Is it really just like tests me. I test myself with these things. But so when Katy was getting ready to go to Africa, she posted on Facebook she was going to Africa. And of course, I can't help myself. And I think I pretty much always lead the charge on this. You're hard pressed to find me make a comment or on Katy's Facebook page where it's not a pun to something she says. And talking about her going to Africa and people were saying all these different things, like don't be lying around, blah, blah, blah. So my current boss, her former boss at the radio station, he made one. I don't remember what it was, but it was really good. And Katy liked it. She's like, oh, haha, that was great. And several other people were like, yeah, that's a great one. And I commented, this is the one that I'm most proud of myself for. Mind you, she's going to Africa. And I said, Katy, I've seen a lot of puns here and there's a lot of good ones, but Safari has the best one.
I don't remember that.
It's so bad how we entertain ourselves because I was dying commenting that.
Here's the thing that makes you so brilliant at this is you have this incredible ability to take like multi-syllabic words or like just like 5 words in a row and turn it into a pun. Safari.
Oh,
Safari.
I love it. Safari has the best
good.
one. I love it. I just love those.
I forgot. Oh my gosh, Tony, I forgot about that. Yeah, puns are my jam. So feel free to pass those along because that's the beauty about being a teacher is my kids just think I'm funny and they laugh at my jokes even if they don't think they're funny.
They probably don't even get it.
They don't, and they don't, but they see me laughing, so they just think, oh, Miss Dickinson's laughing, we better laugh with her, and they start laughing. I think I'm a comedian.
Because she's like, we're going to have detention until you all get it.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. If you're not laughing at that joke, you better do it right now if you want to have recess.
Yeah,
And they're like,
Katie's in the teacher's lounge,
so funny.
And teachers are walking over and going, Katy, when I walked by, were you explaining puns to the kids? Like you do know
that's what I was doing.
A little advanced for the
During
kindergartners,
During social studies time, I was explaining puns, and I'm okay with that.
So we're going to get out of here. And this episode flew by. I don't even know where this time went, but I mean, we had just a great time talking about Below Deck. And obviously, Katy has said it several times and we mean it. Comment with what you take from the show. So, do you like Below Deck? Do you agree with Katy that Kate's the best and I think Hannah's the best? I mean, let us have it one way or the other. We want to interact with you. And sadly, now we are going to do some live versions of this where you will be able to interact with us in real time. But by and large, we're kind of precluded from being able to interact with you in real time. But that doesn't mean that we don't want to. So this is the best way that we can. So please, by all means, do it. And we'll talk next week. Katy, any final words today?
Have a fabulous week. Thanks for tuning in.
I'm Tiny.
I'm Katy.
We'll talk to you Tuesday, 10 a.m., the all-new Tiny and Katy Show podcast.
Bye.